Welcome to the spreader on a Tuesday. I've tried to give insight. I've tried to give any kind of help into putting a little bit extra money into your pocket, picking winners. Cash and tickets is what it's all about. And so, in the spirit of that, I want to try to help identify good spots or good leans and fades to where it at least tries to tip the favor a little bit to your favor. There are so many things about sports gambling that are so hard, and to simplify just one simple thing can actually be huge when it comes to trying to pick winners or at least trying to avoid losers. And so we're essentially 1 month away from the end of the regular season in college hoops. This is usually when the teams that aren't good, they know they're not good, they usually pack it in to a degree. This is when middle of the pack teams kind of stop giving it the old college jerk, if you know what I mean. And if top teams remain healthy, and they tend to stay pretty motivated towards the end of the year, because this is when they're in the running for seeding for conference tournaments. This is when they're thinking of making it to the NCAA. And so this is when the teams they put their best foot forward, but sometimes that foot is really just kind of a Nike full of poop. And so I made a list, and I made it yesterday, which would be Monday the 24th. This is Tuesday the 25th. And what I'm trying to do is try to find an approach that kind of tips the weight, if you will, in our favor. And with this approach in mind, last night on the 24th, I went 10-6. And I don't care who you are. After the year that we've had in football, hockey, I've been getting pucked, and not in the good way. For those of you, looking for an edge, all I'm trying to offer is a new way to look at it and hopefully find an edge. And as I said, I made the list yesterday. A couple of the teams actually played yesterday, so it was kind of a real-time experiment, if you will. And again, tell me you wouldn't want a 10-6 night in anything. You're up 4 units after one night. That's a win. And as for you, the fans, the millions upon millions of listeners that I'm catering to already know, aside from my stellar production value of my basement, I do a good job of hiding all the toys for my 1-year-old son. We got a Peloton for the holiday, so that's been fun. Depends on your definition of fun. But I'm getting off track here. So, but as all of you know, leans and fades is what it's all about. Trying to find a winner is all it's all about. Trying to avoid a loser is all that it's all about. And if you are someone who knows for certainty that a game is going to go one way, and you have the courage and resources to put it all on that one game, I envy you. I truly do. I truly envy you, because I've hit 3 big single sample size game wagers in my life. And I can't do it week in and week out. There's just too much. There's too much shit. One thing can go wrong and then you're screwed. But if you are someone who can do that, I tip my hat to you, and in a way, I envy you. So with my approach in mind, I put together sort of a state of the union, if you will, the current state of affairs, the taking inventory, if you will, of college hoops. I have a huge list, but I'm only going to share a couple. I'm going to share 5 leans and fades every show. Obviously, if I just give you all of the leans and all of the fades, then my millions upon millions and droves of listeners are just going to go away. So I have to keep that in mind. And so I have a list so far of the top and worst teams against the spread this year so far. So again, with 1 month to play, games still being canceled due to COVID. These are kids. It's been a weird season coming to an end, an off season where finally the facade of a governing entitlement of this entertainment industry that is college sports doesn't matter anymore because of NIL deals. And teams that are on the fade side of this list simply do not cover. The teams that are on the lean side of this list have been winning and they've been covering. And as we always say, good teams win, great teams cover. And so the only criteria that I had when making this list was, are you at least 5 games below or above 500? If you were just watching on YouTube, you saw that my hands went in opposite directions. Doesn't matter to anybody. Anyway, and so that's really the only criteria. So if you are 10-5 against the spread, you are on this list as a lean. If you are 5-10 against the spread, you're on this list as a fade. Yo comprendo? Okay, so 5 leans, 5 good teams that have been covering so far this year. Get ready, a pen and a paper. If you have a good memory, I envy you in that way too. But we're going to start with some blue bloods, some juggernauts. Alabama State is currently 13-6 against the spread. Texas Southern is 11-6 against the spread. A team that actually would be considered a blue blood at this point, Texas Tech, is 13-7 against the spread. They covered last night against the Jayhawks. Longwood, you're darn right. Hell yeah. Longwood is 10-4 against the spread. And last but not least, the powerhouse of Coppin State are 13-5-1 against the spread. So those are 5 teams that have been playing well and have been covering a lot. Some fades here. UNLV 6-12 against the spread. Grambling 6-11 against the spread. Eastern Illinois 5-12 against the spread. William and Mary 5-12 against the spread. And last but not least, Northeastern 6-11-1 against the spread. Keep those teams in mind when you're taking a look at the schedule, when you're looking at the lines. And speaking of lines, let's do some lines. I am not giving up on the association no matter how hard it is. So I got 5 games that I want to go over where I'm trying to find an edge. First game, Lakers-Nets. LeBron's been saying, the GOAT, and it ain't even close, has been saying that he's been in a good offensive groove. The Lakers, in their last 10 games, 7 of them have hit the over, and they've hit the over 4 straight games on the road. Brooklyn is hampered, but they always seem to find a way to score 110. And with an over-under right now, right around 225, I'm going to go over. This is where this is trending. I think LeBron wants to come out and really put it on them and score a lot. And the last 10 times these two teams have played, they've hit the over. No, I shouldn't say that. So 7 out of the last 10, the Lakers have hit the over, 4 in a row on the road. The Nets are kind of a 500 team right now with the over-under. They're 5-5 in a lot of categories over their last 10, but with LA and where they're finding their groove offensively, I'm going to go with the over in that one. The next game is San Antonio versus Houston, and it's simply because Houston is 0-3 at home in their last 10, and they have not been playing well. And any time that I get to go San Antonio, As I said before, if I was going to write like a novel about sports gambling, the first chapter is never bet against the Spurs. So I'm going to go with the Spurs, but really this is just a wager against Houston, as they are under 500 for the season against the spread, and they are abysmal at home. The next game I had to do a little bit of research, looking into some things. Denver at Detroit. Now these two teams played 2 nights ago. The Nuggets were a 12-point favorite. They won by 6. And it was a pretty competitive game. Everyone that was hurt for that game is hurt again. So it's essentially going to be a rematch. Now, Detroit, over their last 10, they are 3-1 against the spread at home, while the Nuggets are 0-2 against the spread on the road, and they've hit the under the last 2 times on the road as well. I'm going to pick Detroit. I'm getting 8 points with them at home. I'm going to take Detroit as an 8-point dog at home. The next game is Charlotte-Toronto. If you missed the Toronto run over the last month, my sincere condolences. I believe they ended up 12-2 against the spread and 12-2 to the over a 14 game span. So that was just unreal. Charlotte is sneaky good this year. They're 29-18 against the spread, but with this team at home, the line is Toronto at 3, and that just stinks of poo. However, last 10, each of these teams have 7 out of the last 10 have hit the under. And it's 222. So I'm going to go with the under in Charlotte, Toronto. The last game that we're looking at is New Orleans at Philly. Philly, their last 10, they're 7-3 straight up and against the spread. If you want to put a little bit on them to cover 11, you can. New Orleans always seems to find a way to score. The last 3 times they've played Philly, they've covered 2. And they're 10-8-1 against the spread versus the East, while Philly's 11-6 against the spread against the West, but that's all on the road. They've played 10 of them on the road, and they've covered 7. So what I'm looking at here, though, I'm going to look at the under, because New Orleans is 0-4, has not hit the over in 4 games running on the road. So I'm going to go with the under in that. Right now, the over-under is 212. Man, that's low, but these two teams hit it. The last 3 times these two teams have played, they've hit the under, and New Orleans has had a hard time hitting 100 points. And Valanciunas is out, Ingram is out, Hart is out, Graham is out. So I think that's a good sign for the under. So those are my picks. Those are the 5 picks I got here tonight in the association. Thanks for tuning in here on a Tuesday. Been just a little bit, pull the curtain back just a little bit. I got a friend who plays professional hoops overseas. He's going to be my first guest. We're going to get that going here within the next week. We got some things in mind, working on some stuff. So that's some excitement, some exciting news, I guess, for the social spreader. But whatever action you have tonight, I hope the list helped in terms of leans and fades in college hoops. And whatever you got going on tonight, good luck with your bets.